In today's video, I'll be taking a $60 grocery list of all standard ingredients and I'll transform them into a full week of meal prep. And I'll be giving you all the recipes completely for free so anyone can follow along. Alright, so with all the events in the world, we all are aware about how expensive groceries have gotten over the last couple of years, which is why it has never been more important to get as much as you possibly can get out of the ingredients that you're buying. I will put together a $60 grocery list that has a nice variety of affordable and very healthy ingredients that everyone should be able to use and find no matter where you live. Obviously, the prices of ingredients will range a lot depending on your location, where you shop, and the quality of the ingredients. I use my local market here in DC as a reference to get me to that $60 range, even though here where I currently live, I spend probably just half of that. If you're shopping for organic ingredients, that's going to knock the budget for this grocery list up by 20 to 25%. And what I'm not including in this budget that I'll be using for this meal prep is salt and pepper, olive oil, and fats that I already have in my pantry. Now, the absolute best thing to buy is red meat, in my opinion. I got beef for today, but all the recipes can easily be replaced with chicken, pork, deer, lamb. Every meal prep in my house starts with a good homemade bread that I can use for fried eggs in the morning or as a snack with some cheese, maybe even with a soup, a stew that I cook during the week. All you need is lukewarm water, yeast, salt, and flour. I do 75% hydration here, so for a kilogram of flour, that's about 750 milliliters of water. Give it a very nice knead for a few minutes until the dough gets a non-sticky texture. Then let it rest until it doubles in size. Usually that takes me about 30 to 40 minutes. When it's ready, I add it on a clean working surface, and in today's case, I cut it in half to get two nice loaves of bread. I do try to roll the dough as much as I can by shaping it into a ball, then add it on the parchment paper. I did have some sesame seeds that I added on top, which is almost always the norm here, but you can leave it as it is. I add it in the oven along with a pan with some water in order to create that beautiful crunchy but soft crust on top. I bake at 450 Fahrenheit for 25 minutes, then at 200 Fahrenheit for another 20 minutes. This should be enough for the week. Especially in a big household, I feel like meal prep should have at least a good soup that is high in protein, lots of veggies, and some kind of taste that everybody likes. I never go wrong with this beef soup. Heat up some water and slice up about 750 grams of that beef. We'll use beef in 3 different recipes to be able to cover a full week of high protein meals. I cut them into 1-inch thick slices and add them to the pan, then bring a generous amount of salt and let it boil for about 40 minutes until the meat is cooked through. I make sure to clean from time to time the foam. For the veggies, it's very easy. Just chop some carrots, a white onion, some red pepper for crunch and color. I saute them really fast in a different small pan in olive oil, and by the time I got them ready, the meat is ready too. So I add the veggies on top and let them cook together for another 15 minutes or so. The next step or prep is the greens. To create that fresh flavor, we'll need a generous amount of cilantro, green onions, and lovage. In a bowl, I add some sour cream along with 2 egg yolks, then bring some of the broth to bring the mixture to a warm temperature and to make sure that the eggs don't crumble. Then add it to the soup, bring the greens and turn the heat off. I soured it with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, and this soup should last up to 3 days and way longer, obviously, in the freezer. I see meal prep as efficiency and low effort if you don't want to spend the whole day in the kitchen. This recipe is almost hands-off and can be assembled in few interesting ways, so in this way it doesn't get boring. Cut into 4 to 6 cubes golden potatoes. Here I got a sweet potato that I cut in smaller cubes. Add them to a baking tray and bring a generous amount of that beef that I cut in pieces. I drizzle a generous amount of olive oil, salt, black pepper, paprika, mince a bit of garlic, give it a very nice mix, then in the oven to 450 Fahrenheit for 30 minutes, then to 220 Fahrenheit for another 20 minutes. I give it a touch of color with some cilantro and dill freshly chopped. Add this on a plate followed by some sour cream, and you got a very nice easy lunch, almost hands-off. To make it look nicer and great for a second day lunch, add some baby spinach on the bottom, bring some potatoes, some meat, then crumble some cheese on top, and you got a nice lunch that took 2 minutes to prepare. Any meal prep should have a simplified breakfast idea or a snack ready to grab and go, especially with babies around. Here I have 2 bananas that I mash very well. I crack an egg per banana, so here we'll use 2. Mix very well, add what's left on that Greek yogurt. Sour cream is fine as well for this recipe. For vanilla here, I'm kind of forced to use the sugary vanilla, but extract is way better. Mix very well, then add the flour, the baking powder, and the cinnamon. Give them a good mix, then fry them in olive oil about 1 minute per side on medium to low heat. These are easy to make, easy to pack, and high protein as well. You can serve them with toppings or even simple the way they are. The week is not over yet. We'll cook the rest of the beef that we have left over. I cut it into small pieces, then in a pan I add some butter and olive oil, and we'll fry the meat until it gets crispy. About 7 minutes, it's what it takes. I season with some salt, For the veggies, I cut into small cubes the carrots, half a white onion, and saute together with the meat. I mince about 2-3 cloves of garlic, then grate a teaspoon of fresh ginger. Give it a good mix. When they are ready, I add the green lentils and let them for a minute or so to cook a bit and cover everything with lots of water. Bring it to a boil and let's chop some tomatoes. Once the lentils are fully cooked, add the tomatoes on top and let them simmer for about 5 minutes. I had some spinach left over, so I'll add along with some freshly chopped cilantro. Season with more salt to taste and crack a bit of black pepper. This was really good with the homemade bread. The leftover cilantro goes in a bowl and I start cutting some lettuce quite small. To make sure the kids don't have trouble eating it, throw that in a bowl, then chop some tomatoes and add them too. I'll cut the cucumbers a bit bigger because the kids really love it. It was nice because we got this from the market, from a nice lady that we normally buy apples from. Most likely these are cucumbers from her garden, so I cut a lot of these. For a bit of sweetness, add some pomegranate seeds, and I cut the cheese into small cubes. This is Imeruli cheese, but feta works perfectly. Give this a really nice mix and pair it with some of that beef left and some of those potatoes even maybe. In order to maintain the salad for longer, I don't season it with anything. I just add some salt and squeeze some lemon juice in my plate. Maybe a bit of tahini, or use whatever dressing you have on hand. I still did not get tired of this meal prep. It's fulfilling and quite easy to make. If you need more meal prep ideas, check this out.